Right. Hey. So a little overdue review of the Jinky 43, which is my life's work. So yes, I had a birthday just over a week ago now. We're in Monday right now, not just Sunday just passed, but Sunday previous. And since 43, which moves from deafness through the gift of insight to the city of Epiphany, is my life's work. I have worked and reviewed and lived through its many facets many times in my life, and this past transit was no exception. The shadow of deafness, in general, I find it hard to connect with shadows. But I do some of them I do find the silver lining to, like with Jinkies teaches us that shadows aren't necessarily something to transcend and get rid of, but it's just a different band of consciousness, and they're all welcome. So with the shadow of deafness, normally the interference pattern is where we're so deaf from the noise of the society that we can't hear our own truth. And I have to say that my entire life, unconsciously, and in the last year since discovering the Gene Keys, it was more conscious but still very hard to break. I had definitely have this shadow very present in terms of always wanting to learn, and there's just so much I want to learn and listen to in the audios and the teachings, so it's almost never that I allow myself the time and the space just to hear myself. I don't necessarily practice meditation, and even with the Gene Keys, the practice of contemplation would almost always be connected to first reading or listening about a certain Gene Key. So yes, the space and time to hear my own insights, which is what this Gene Key is all about, just creating that you can't force the insight, but you can create the atmosphere for it to arise, which is solitude, stillness, and limiting external inputs. And I definitely was always cramming my head. There's just so much I wanted to learn all the time. So, but the upside that you can turn deafness into selective hearing. So where the noise of society still goes on, but rather than letting it dictate what I choose to be and do in the world, I become deaf to what society says and choose to say my own thing. And I just want to share how this played out in that last week of the transit. I got a massive clarity around my business, which was also aided by, I'm currently in a Delta group, which I have a separate video series on that. And in there, it was a week of clarity for me. So clarity combined with the Jinky of insight has produced tremendous amount of clarity around what I want my business to be and my message to be. And once I got that clarity, there was a very strong outpouring of creativity. These videos were the result of that outpouring of that creativity, and there's just suddenly I have all these things that I want to say and share. And how that ties to deafness is that what I've decided to share about is my lived experience of bliss and how I'm learning to embody it, and how it was through the Gene Keys, even though I'd done a lot of personal development and various practices throughout my lifetime, and I live in nature. Like some people would say, oh, it's because you live in nature, nature is bliss. But I lived in nature for over 10 years, but the bliss has only happened about half a year into the Gene Keys. And it ever continues to expand and encompass all areas and, times and parts of my life. And when I first went on social media wanting to spread the Gene Keys wisdom, I kind of started with bliss, but then it was a bit nebulous. It was really hard to say stuff. So then I went on to this whole, needing to speak in terms of problem and solution, finding out which angle can I take with the gene keys. And then I thought I was finding something that was aligning with my hologenetic profile and what I should be talking about. But the content still wasn't flowing. So then through this clarity that I got last week, a week before, it became increasingly loud and clear inside of me that no, bliss is exactly what I need to be talking about. So once again, how the deafness comes in is once I shared it with the in a group where I'm participating to learn to do marketing and kind of define my message and bring myself and my work out into the world. They're like, no, it can't be, like, bliss is too, yeah, too nebulous. It's not really, people won't pay attention because you're not speaking to a specific problem. Now you have to be more precise. And the more of this feedback I was getting, the stronger the inside that rebel energy was becoming. So it was like in response to being told what I should or should not be, that creative rebel energy was rising, and the more it was rising, like, no, I will talk about bliss. I don't care if I'm the only one. I don't even care if people will listen. Like I said, it was just self-sustaining. It was louder. The actual motivation was louder, and then the creative potency and the energy and the stuff that I was writing, creating, recording behind it was also undeniable. So this is how I've seen, it's like just in the last few weeks is the first times when I'm experiencing being in certain groups and signing up for trainings and actually not, like, a lot of the times disagreeing. I feeling like, wow, it doesn't ring true for me. All my previous 20 years was mostly like just taking on, taking on, taking on and agreeing and experimenting with. But yeah, so that's very new to me, to be disagreeing and finding power in that. And I feel like the deafness of the 43, which is my life's work. So it's a very prominent, important energy in my life all the time, not just during the transit. It's playing a role in that. So, and who knows, maybe it's the underside of the deafness. And maybe, given a few weeks to a couple of months, I'll turn around and go, oh, you know what, they were right. So I was too deaf to hear the correct advice. So time will tell regarding that, but for now, that's how deafness played out during that transit, as I was really increasingly deaf to how the status quo and how things should be said, should be marketed, should be. And the more I was deaf, the more the creative energy was rising up. And it was giving rise to the gift of the 43 being the inside. So I was getting lots of ideas, lots of insights. And also because 43 is a life's work, but in the Pearl sequence, the same gene key also represents the brand. So something that's my voice and I'm meant to be talking about, and my brand. And it organically flown out of my explorations and creativity of that week. The name for the newsletter, Intimate Insights. And a few days later, what followed is rebranding myself from the guide to Insight Partner, because I started listening one really cool book on inquiry, where the lady said instead of calling herself a coach, she calls herself a thinking partner, and I really like that. And then because for me, it's not just thinking, and a lot of the times insight comes not through thinking, but yeah, primary modality is thinking. I'm not doing necessarily energetic work or teaching meditation and stuff. It's all in communication and collaborative thinking that the insight arises. So I tried on insight partner, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm quite, obviously makes me feel really good, the fact that my branding is all about insight now, because Jinky says my brand, Jinky of the Jinky of my brand is inside. And it definitely fits very well with just how I am with people in general. I like to, in the process of discussion and collaborative thinking, spontaneous insights arise, and that's what I always liked, and that's what I hope to facilitate and bring in more of in the world. So That's my journey of insight. And another little bit to insight was now that I'm back on X, the culture there, which is part of the things that I really like about it, is the, let's jump on the Zoom call. So it's very open to in one-on-one meeting each other in a virtual space rather than just superficial commenting and likes. And one of those Zoom calls I had, the friend I was meeting at the end of our Zoom call posted, met with Paulina, and the key takeaway is this, this, this. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been telling myself for weeks that I'm just, I'm in so many Zoom communities and conversations and classes, and I'm just moving so rapidly from one to another without giving myself time to digest. And I've been telling myself this, but I haven't actually been doing it to, at the end of each one, to pause and decide on one key takeaway and possibly post about it. So him saying that was like the last kind of like drop. Okay, no, that's what I've been saying to myself all along, but not doing it. But then look at him; he's actually practicing it, and it's such a um, cool practice. So I started doing that as well. So after every, well, not every one because I have so many, but I hope to make it into a habit of after every one. But so far, at least once a day, as a result of all the what's been one insight and one shift for the day from all of the Zooms and classes I've participated in. And it's been really, really beneficial. Like just the process of sitting down to distill the insight, verbalize the insight, condense it into a tweet has also been really, really fun because first it comes out way too wordy. So yeah, the gift of insight has shown itself this way, and I hope to, again, not just during the transit, but I hope to carry it through with me as a practice going forward, to one insight from every class, every call, and share it. And the big theme, sharing has also been a really big theme because I have two channels defined in my human design profile, the 4323, which is insight, ingenious to freak. So I would always get insights. But I always felt like started progressively feeling like I'm just hoarding them and I'm not sharing, I'm not really being of service to the whole. And the other channel, which I feel like I've done nothing with, was 5611, which is the storyteller. This processing past experiences and fashioning into like stories for the benefit of others, learning from them. And hopefully that's what I'm experimenting with and doing right now. And it's going great. Like I said, this one is a little bit delayed, but just because I've been traveling and outside of my regular routines and not really a lot of the times not free to record. But even that, I'm cutting myself slack on. It's just, we self-impose so many deadlines and timelines and then stress over them. And that's another one of the themes of the transformational last few weeks is that just let go of how things should be and just allow more flow and flexibility in my life. And it's been really, really healing, really just good. I remember a week ago, so I was apologizing for posting some transit information late, and then somebody commented saying like, nobody cares, nobody keeps track. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. I know, thank you for the reminder. Nobody keeps track, so I'm just gonna create, even if it's a little bit out of sync with what's going on in the calendar. So yeah, lots of insights. Helping people facilitate insight, rebranding to insight, bringing out the insight videos, learning to encapsulate a single insight from every piece of learning that I do. And then we have the Epiphany. And I can only explain how I understand Epiphany. And it's supposed to dawn as this big revelation in a split second. And hasn't dawned for me yet. But what has occurred is I feel like like many things in life, like I logically understand it first before embodying it. And my logical understanding what Epiphany is all about is in fact not some sort of a sudden enlightened exalted state, but on the contrary, a sudden realization that that's just it, what we are right now, what how we feel, how we are, is all that will ever be. There's now nothing else to strive and seek for, and kind of this realization is what Epiphany is all about. And right now, the way I use this energy is more like a reminder, especially when you get caught up in the timelines of being late or this or that, just to remind myself there is nowhere to strive and nothing to achieve. What I am right now in this moment, whether it's tired, late, even overwhelmed, all these things, it's just that's all it is, the ordinaries of being human, and that's all I ever will be. And there is again such peace and relaxation and rest and just like a big sigh about it. So yeah, haven't come as a big embodied realization yet, but it really definitely helps as a daily reminder of just this existence is all there is. So there's nowhere to rush. Take it easy, enjoy every moment of it. So that's my takeaways and insights from the recent transit of the Jinki 43. And right now we're already in the Jinki 14. So I'm going to briefly speak about the energies that are moving through the cosmos now. See if you've recognized some of them in your life and how to work with some of them. So it's Jinki 14. Moving from the shadow of compromise through the gift of competence to the city of bounteousness, which is one of my favorite cities. And I don't have it in my hologenetic profile, but I have it in conscious Mercury. So, and some say that it will be in some of the future Chinky sequences. And I do feel it strongly. And compromise is basically doing work. Mostly it's the Jinki mostly concerned with work and creating prosperity and abundance. So compromises compromising our dreams, giving up on our dreams, just doing work because to keep the life ticking away, to pay the bills, not really in having a heart in what we're doing. And since we're compromised, even if we achieve a certain amount of prosperity or abundance or recognition, it doesn't really ultimately feed our soul because day to day we're involved something that is not our soul's calling, our soul's, our genius and our unique expression in the world. So it's compromise. And also now that I guess I'll reflect on it in a future video. I'm traveling in the first world this week, and there's other themes of compromise that I'm experiencing for myself. That I've even read all about the compromise Jinki, but it's not in there. But yet it still feels so connected to compromise. So I guess it is in the realm of lived experience. I'll definitely share in the future video. And then we have the gift of competence. So it's when you shed a lot of societal expectations, employ some of the deafness of the Jinki 43 to block out the noise and tune in inside onto what the heart, what the soul, and what the whole being wants to express through us. And because we have the excitement and the innate drive and the life force for this certain something we're meant to be doing, that excitement and enthusiasm will carry us through to competence. Competence is not just a natural born talent, it's applying ourselves and doing something that we're excited and motivated to do, which over time would lead to competence. And it's just like compromise is contagious in a very low frequency state. competence is contagious. So us being enthusiastic and sharing and about what we do sets other people on fire around us, and this gene key is really beneficial for to have in a team. They can magnetize and pull the team together for achieving a certain project or creating something out in there, materializing something in the world. And the competence isn't necessarily as applied to a certain skill. It's because of its enthusiasm and drive and desire. It can be applied in any direction. So even taking up, wanting to complete the task or bring something to fruition, these people can easily take on some task that they not necessarily know how to do yet, but the enthusiasm and the desire and the flexibility will let them apply and learn, or maybe attract support in making that come true as well. So there's the competence. And bounteousness is one of my favorites because it's kind of like the visualization of just endlessly giving sun, where you're just giving and being refueled by giving, and it's not giving to get something back, but just to like the joy of giving of your true nature. And that's been my visualization and kind of an anchoring practice for a few months now. Just imagining myself as the sun endlessly giving of my essence. So yeah, and that's what bounteousness stands for. In the beginning, I kind of thought that even though there is a certain focus on material prosperity with this gene key, the way I understand it now is just endlessly giving of not just material resources, but of just the genius and the essence. First realizing our true essence, and then endlessly giving and sharing as it is just being the joy. And that's it. It was a little bit of a longer preview, just because I feel like we're already in these energies and I'm already exploring and feeling them. I hope you get something out of it, of my turning my life experiences into a bit of a story for others to hear what they need to hear. I hope it's serving its purpose. And if not, it definitely is serving its purpose of me, my own self-expression and self-exploration. It's been a joy, and I look forward to doing the 14 as a lived experience in a few days for you again, and hope to connect and converse. I'm planning to introduce, turn this into a blog post and add some questions for you to reflect as well on your experiences of these energies, because one of the reasons I'm doing these videos is that it's in reflection that I get to learn. Yes, we all move through them and we all feel them and get something, for ourselves every time the transits happen, but it's not until I sit down to reflect with some quality questions and taking the time to feel into the energies and the archetypes and reflect on life experiences that insights come. So I'm hoping to not just share my insights, but also prompt some of your own through opening channels for conversation, communication, and posting a couple of quality questions to ponder. All right, well, thank you very much once again for listening and for being here with me, for your support. And let's bring some insights through conversation, hopefully out next. Thank you.